morning and welcome to Smell the Coffee on this beautiful Tuesday. It is the 2nd of September. It's going to be an amazing day, even though it didn't start out that way for me, but we move.
What happened?
We move. Yeah, where do I even begin to start, colleagues?
Hey.
I just know that at some point I checked my phone and my phone was on 23%. I'm like...
That's why you must sleep at 8. I keep telling you, sleep early. And when you go to bed, you must always ensure that your phone is charged. When you leave the sitting room or the dining room or whatever, make sure that your phone is on 100%. Because chances are that if you do go to the bedroom, you're not going to sleep immediately. You're going to be on your phone and you're going to bring it down until 50 or 40%. And then overnight, some batteries are so weak and then it will keep going down. When you wake up, it's like literally at 20%.
Yeah.
So you can't go to the bedroom with your phone at 50%.
No, you cannot.
Yeah.
And the thing with these Z Flips is Z Flips are so cool and they're so cute and they are, don't get me wrong, I love me a Z Flip, right? I love my phone. But now, the way the phone was designed, because it folds in two, the battery had to become significantly smaller. So Z Flip's batteries, they drain so fast.
So it doesn't last.
It doesn't. It can last. Like you can do certain things to make it last, like obviously close all the apps at certain times, turn off your mobile data or your Wi-Fi or your Bluetooth, whatever it is that you need to turn off. But considering when I had my S series, they keep the battery for longer. So now...
Is this Samsung?
It's Samsung.
Okay.
It's Samsung. So now with the Z Flip, because the battery is significantly smaller, it's going to drain fast. So at first I was like, is it because, I'm doing something wrong or what is it? And then my mom said to me, no, even with her phone, and my mom is not even, on Instagram and TikTok and all of those things. And she was saying that's generally the problem with Z Flips. They have a smaller battery because they had to accommodate for the fact that the phone folds in half.
Yeah.
So the top half is like the screen and then the bottom half is the battery. Unlike with like your normal phone where you can have a bigger battery. I don't know the science behind it, but anyway, I will still die on the Z Flip hill. That is, it's fine. No one can convince me otherwise.
Yeah. I will die on the iPhone hill.
And that's the thing. I don't get
it.
this iPhone Samsung debate because I honestly feel it's just
to
preference.
Each their own.
It's preference. You cannot get me to buy an iPhone because I'm just like, why? I had one of the very first iPhones and it was not user friendly at all. So I think that was just enough to get me off iPhone completely. I was like, yeah, no. And when I say I had one of the very first iPhones, I mean the one that was silver at the top and like had a bottom quarter that was black. Those were like the very first iPhones. And I did not enjoy it at all.
Yeah.
So that's why now I'm on the Samsung hill. And it's not even just Android. I am Samsung through and through. You can't get me to get, Google Pixel or Huawei. No. So I wanted to find out.
Yeah.
I was watching this one clip or one film, and the guy walked into the lawyer's office and said, no, I'm here to sign a push-nup. And then the lawyer was like, do you mean a prenup? And he said, no, a push-nup.
What's a push-nup?
So basically his wife was pregnant. And then she said to him, because it's my body and because so many things could go wrong, I'm making you sign this agreement that if anything happens, then you have to pay me.
Okay.
Yes. And
why
then
do
also,
I have to pay you?
Because you got me pregnant.
Okay.
And also, we need to figure out how we split the duties and the costs once the baby comes.
Wow.
Yes.
This is a thing.
No, it's not a thing. It was in a movie. But I'm like, if
okay.
it is
in
a thing.
Movie, okay.
If it is a thing. Because when I was watching it, it low-key made sense.
No, I don't think it makes sense. Were you not enjoying the sex? What do you mean you did this to me?
But the thing is, sometimes it's the guy that wants the child.
Nah, that's wild.
Okay, fine. Let's move from the idea of a pushing up. Let's go to choosing. The doctor says there have been some complications. We either save the mom or the baby.
Who must be saved?
Who must be saved?
The mom.
Okay.
Why must the baby be saved? Like this is the stranger. Y'all better save me. Why are you going to save the baby?
I know of a guy that said he would save his child.
No. Why?
I also don't understand why you want to save this stranger that you haven't even met over me.
You don't even know if this stranger will make it past tomorrow.
You don't even know if this stranger is going to grow up to be a psychopath or a serial killer.
If they're even gonna like you in real life.
No.
Why?
Because my argument is we can always make another baby.
Yes.
And if it's a thing of something really bad happened and you can't physically give birth to the baby, you can adopt, you can do surrogacy. There's a lot of options. I don't understand why I have to die. I really don't understand. And honestly speaking, I would haunt everyone and their mothers and their grandmothers because
the whole family.
the whole family. Because what do you mean? Why are you saving the stranger? And really and truly, there are some moms that say save the baby.
No, like if I say save the baby, then by all means. But if I never said save the baby, save me, you better save me.
Save me.
Yes,
Save
and in most
me.
cases, I'm gonna say save me, Chomi, save me, because. Like you know me for longer, why are you saving this baby?
This stranger that you don't even know. You haven't even seen them yet.
Like
They have been in my stomach for the last 9 months and you want to save them?
oh no,
Nah.
maybe their future is bright. What about my future?
No. Because it becomes a moral decision.
Yeah.
Right? Because in the argument that this guy was making, he was saying, because once you're married, your husband becomes your medical proxy, which means he has to make all medical decisions.
Right.
Right. So now your mom is still alive. Your husband is alive. The doctor comes in and says, oh, hi, we can only save one. Your husband says, save my child. Your mother says, save my child. So both of them want to save their children.
Yeah.
So what now? What happens then?
Sweetie, you are saving me. You are not saving your child. I can give you 6 other children.
Honestly speaking,
Save me. And that's end of the story.
there are probably people watching and thinking we're selfish.
It's fine. It's fine.
No, I'd rather be selfish. Because also, if I have other children, so you want my other kids to grow up without a mom?
Imagine.
You want to raise this child as a single dad?
Nah.
Nah, fam.
Nah.
No. I don't think I would ever agree.
Me neither. I will not agree in this life, not in the next either. But nonetheless, we will be right back with entertainment news after the break.
Welcome to the Business 7 Show, Namibia's primary economic analysis program. My name is Zohane Klache, and we bring you in-depth news covering the main aspects of Namibia's economy, plus interviews of key economic individuals that make the key policy decisions that shape our nation's future. Join us on Business 7 every week as we unpack what is important to our nation and what drives its economy.
And now getting into our top stories, radio personality Saul Penduka has been kicked to the curb by Kaya 959 after the station pulled the plug on his contract with immediate effect. Now, the controversial broadcaster, who was part of the Kaya Breakfast team alongside Dineo Ranaka until her exit last year, found himself in hot water once again, this time over remarks made on the popular podcast In Chill with Mac G. Kaya 959's acting managing executive, Dave Tiltman, confirmed Saul's dismissal, saying the station could not ignore comments that tarnish its public reputation. Kaya 959 cannot and will not condone comments made on the Mac G podcast, where Saul Penduka is an an integral part of the presenting team. Misogynistic remarks made about actress Minnie Dlamini were unacceptable and inconsistent with respect owed to women, said Tiltman. He revealed that this was not Saul's first strike. Back in June of 2023, the presenter had given Kaya management a written assurance that his behavior would change after a prior scandal. In that letter, Saul acknowledged his responsibilities as a representative of the station and even apologized to the Kaya family. But Tiltman said Saul has once again breached that trust. Trust, integrity, accountability, respect, and inclusivity are the foundations of Kaya 959. They guide everything we do on air, online, and off air. We are answerable to our listeners, and when conduct falls short, we act decisively, Tiltman added. The termination was carried out under Kaya's independent contractor agreement, which allows for immediate dismissal if an individual's public actions bring the station into disrepute. The axe has now fallen firmly on Saul, who remains a regular feature on MacG's controversial podcast, but has lost his slot on one of Joburg's biggest commercial radio stations. Kaya insists it will continue to champion respect and inclusivity, promising listeners a safe and accountable broadcasting space without Saul.
Do you think that's fair? Do you think it's fair that he was dismissed? Like, okay, just for context, so many months ago,
a few months ago,
MacG made some remarks concerning Minnie Dlamini, who is a radio personality, media personality, actress, influencer, everything.
Mm-hmm.
And these remarks were concerning her body hygiene.
Mm-hmm.
And so these remarks sparked a lot of outrage, among women, among men. Everyone was upset by these remarks. So now where Saul fits in, he didn't say anything about Minnie, right? But these remarks were made in his presence. He did not rebuke them. He did not applaud them. He just sat there. It's like me and you on this show. You say something controversial. I don't agree. I don't disagree. I just leave it at such. So now I'm fired because of what you said. Do you think that's fair?
Honestly speaking, I think we cannot call it fair, but at the end of the day, he did sign a contract to say that if anything were to ever reflect badly on the station because of his actions or lack thereof.
But what was his action?
Lack of.
No.
Lack of action.
Nah, but I don't think the contract says lack of action.
But then the thing is, at the end of the day, because
you know what I think it is?
Because he is part of Kaya's system or whatever, right? And the fact that he was on this podcast, we've said this before, that silence is also an answer. Silence is saying something. So I guess maybe they're looking at it in that context.
I think they are influenced by
the public,
because there's pressure. They need to act. Otherwise, they will seem like they are on his side or on the podcast side. I think that's more of it than to say that, I don't know. But
we don't know the terms of the contract.
Yeah, we
read
don't
the fine print.
Yeah, we
before
don't
you
know
sign
the terms
anything.
of the contract, but it sounds, when you're being bullied and let's say on social media and everyone is bullying you, some of them don't even know you or why you are being bullied. Just because it's trending, everyone jumps
feels
on
they have a
it.
need to say something
Exactly.
and to act. But
I
then
don't
again,
know.
we don't know what the terms of the contract that he signed are. Always read the fine print before you sign anything. If you have a hard time understanding the legal jargon, put it in ChatGPT and say, Chat, please simplify this for me.
Yeah,
It
but
works.
also you need to stand up for the right things. I think, I just want to say this, I think it was, I don't know who said it, but they said that in the end, we will not remember the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends.
Exactly.
So yeah, just be careful.
Which is why I'm saying silence is also saying something. But nevertheless, here is an interesting interview that Aina had recently.
The president of the African Widows Growth and Development Initiative, Mrs. Hope Wakwesi, now joins us to talk about this initiative and what we need to know about it. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing fine. Thank you so much for having us, and We are grateful because media is part of the bigger body of this movement.
All right.
Information is power.
We are definitely glad to have you, and you are right. Information is definitely power. It helps you harness your future with knowledge and intention. Coming to our conversation this morning, what is the bigger vision behind the summit?
Well, the African Widows Summit is an advocacy project of the widows body. You know, 2020, after the summit in Nigeria, you know, during COVID, we had a virtual summit. So we had speakers from African continent. And after the summit, we realized that the problem is the same. Cultural manipulation and government neglect. Then immediately after the summit, we created a WhatsApp group. And in that WhatsApp group, we began to ask ourselves, what can we do each? I mean, we were less than 10 then. And we called ourselves, you know, widows leaders, because we were widow survivors across the continent who are already doing something within our strength, with our individual NGOs, trying to change. And we now began to say, what can we do to bring this to the forefront of the African discussion? And we now said, you know, judging from my experience, I'm a teacher, a professional teacher, but knowing and having used media and advocacy, because advocacy is information and teaching.
Yes.
Kind of. I said to them, I suggested, let's first of all do an advocacy program. Let's turn the Widows Summit into an African Widows Summit. That will give us an outing, and that's what it's all about. It kind of brought us into the system, and now people are hearing it, people are wanting to know more.
Okay. So this year also, I understand you are launching the Pan-African Widows Agenda. What are the key priorities for you for this agenda?
Yeah, you know, like I said, recognizing the vital importance of widows and the neglect in the demography, we realize that we're beginning to discuss about widows and the issues. It has to be an agenda, you know. And what are the agendas? What are the key priority areas? We are looking at policy, protection. That is number one problem that we're having across the continent. And we are looking at education, reorientation, you know, because when we make the policy and put it in the file, it's useless.
Yeah.
But when you make the policy and there are people who take it into the communities, people are informed that this exists, it becomes functional. Then we now talked about provision, which is social inclusion. What are we are looking at it, how do you now begin to provide facilities across economic, education, health? These are the key areas where widows have challenges with them and their children. So these three areas are where the agenda discussion is going to key around at the conference starting on Wednesday.
Okay, you spoke about some of, you spoke about cultural manipulation. I also understand that there are some systematic issues that widows are facing across the African continent.
Yeah.
How do you plan on addressing them each, perhaps individually? I know you spoke of education. Maybe you can just expand that conversation.
Yeah, the first of all, you know, we already have different bodies and individuals doing things across the communities, and we all know that the one person or two person at every point is doing one thing for the widows around charity.
Yeah.
That's always around charity. So, but what we are now talking about is, as a body now, we are coming up bigger, bringing our voice together. We are asking for policy, because there's always a dichotomy between legal status and cultural status in Africa. So there's need for both the government and the traditional rulers. That's why we keep saying stakeholders and gatekeepers to come together and have a uniformity. We need to know where the culture stops and where the policy takes. So that's one of the things. So, and one of the things we want to, by the time we as a body becomes the link and talk to the government and we get this thing, the same way we as a body goes into the community using our membership and everything, begin to bring it. Because the reality is that, there's across the continent, there are a lot of laws, there are a lot of legal things being passed for political purposes, you know. People I realize that some politicians take credit I passed this bill. But the question has always been, having passed it, how effective is it being implemented in the community? So that's where we as widows now come in. When we advocate and get this thing passed, we go further to make sure that these things are transmitted into the community.
Okay, I think you just answered my question now about how stakeholders can come and play their part in this initiative. Now I want to ask, how do you then ensure that you shift the conversation around widows from one of vulnerability to empowerment? How do you do that?
Well, like we said, it's the role of the government. The role of the government is to provide, I always say, the five key dimensional areas widows across Africa, I think across the world, have issues in terms of legal, housing, health, finance, and education.
Yeah.
So this, if we want to be honest, is not something that can be solved universally. Remember, our theme is universal culture. It's something that needs to be solved by, if you want to solve it universally, by the government. And that's where the government, we are talking about what are this existing inclusion of these people in policies, planning, and allocation. It is absolutely almost 0 to 5% inclusive. That is where you are. So how do we ensure when we begin to treat from the government, it begins to include widows? I always like to give as a preschool provider. I always like to give a simple analogy to take home my point. If that widow in my community, in your community, can have access, she has a farm, she has a small SME business, and she can have access to small 1,000, 2,000, or 10,000 Namibian dollar with design interest rate.
Okay.
Through her community, you design the structure of the collateral using the community engagement. You have empowered her. One of the things I tell people, I have been widowed for 31 years plus, and I have been working for widows for 10 years.
Okay.
I have realized that the idea, when we keep our discussion just on land rights, legal rights, it is 1% of the problem we are talking of. Because when you give past law, I know so many countries, including mine, that have passed law, it's still yet to be implemented. Because cultural reorientation is not something you take away.
Yeah.
It's going to take time to rebuild. And the sure way I have seen it to be rebuilt is through the widows having access to finance and empower herself and her children. Let me give you an example. I have seen widows who their property were taken away from them.
Yeah.
And they go, for example, and raise their kids. And their kids goes back to their father's house and father's family and demand for their property. 99.9% of the time they get it. So that's why it is important to shift the narrative, to shift the discussion from charity to strategy, so that each woman, when she's widowed, we have access to this finance, health, education, to raise her kids and raise herself. If we
We do apologize for cutting that short, but we are running out of time. Now, for those of you that know me, y'all know September is my birthday. It's my birth month. But guess whose birth month it also is? Namibia ShopRite is celebrating 35 years with you this September. And to mark this milestone, 35 lucky winners will each walk away with a golden voucher worth 3,500 Namibian dollars. Yes. 35 lucky winners will get to walk away with a voucher worth 3,500 Namibian dollars. That's 7 winners every week for the whole month of September.
That's
if you
so
want
cool.
to join, it's very cool. If you want to join, simply scan the QR code on your screen right there and follow the instructions. It is that easy. You could be walking away with $3,500 worth of a voucher.
You can buy all your groceries, everything
Yes.
you need.
Show me, we need to win it so that
Sure,
we can
are
buy
we
groceries for my
eligible?
birthday.
Are we eligible
So,
to?
if one of you wins and you guys love me, which I know you do, please take me so we can go buy shopping. You know, we're gonna do shopping
Yeah.
for my birthday, all right? But shout out to ShopRite though.
Yeah, it's such a good,
Yes.
giveaway.
Giveaway.
It's a good giveaway. And I mean, like, can we tell our family members about this?
I don't think we can.
Oh, but it's on the show. Our family members watch the show.
They watch the show, but I don't think they'd be eligible.
eligible.
But like I said, guys, if you do win your
Yeah.
voucher, please come take me so we can do birthday shopping.
That
I'd
is
appreciate it.
so cool.
Yes.
Love that.
Alrighty,
Yeah.
and that is our show for today. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back again tomorrow, same time, same place.